we're live here. So things are changing on the YouTube platform and Google Analytics, things like that, and I'm trying to adjust accordingly. As you know, I like to watch all sorts of content that I consider trustworthy, and they're going through lots of upheavals and morphs themselves in order to stay relevant, stay active, and continue to operate with the least amount of censorship. I understand their concern. Anyway, I'm going to just be brief here. I don't normally live stream on a Thursday early morning, but I've got to get a few things off my chest. There's four main items, well, five or six, so I'll just go from the top. Right from the very top, I get such warm, fuzzy feelings. The House Republican Senate Special Committee thing, and this one's headed by James Comer, has now brought forward very condemning, damning evidence against the Biden crime family. It's irrefutable evidence, and it was obtained through whistleblowers, and there's also a lot more inside the FBI, which is being subpoenaed right now. Chris Wray, the director of the FBI, is being very quiet. It's amazing. I saw one of the shows I saw. They had a beautiful infographic showing how all the money flows from China into the Biden family. It's just, it's a work of art, man. These are criminals. The Biden family, they're criminals of the highest order. Treason, selling America to the enemy, right in front of your face. My question, of course, like a lot of people like myself, is like, how will he be punished? When will he be punished? Will he be punished? Will the Biden crime family be held accountable? Who knows what's going to happen? I'm pretty certain that James Comer and his buddies are going to do everything to take down the Biden family. There are lots of people I listen to who are suggesting that Biden is already, and he is just being diplomatically removed from the front lines in order for something else to happen. Anyway, it feels really good. There's a lot more dirt and slime and sewage coming out on the Biden family in the not too distant future. So uh, please enjoy. If I find anything, I'll let you know. There's another thing that's coming up. It's, of course, about the debt ceiling here in the United States. Sorry, I'm recording in McDonald's because I don't feel like I have an option right now. I'm sorry about any kind of background noise. It's pretty quiet, not too many kids. But anyway, there's a long, long, dirty, ugly habit of raising the debt ceiling no matter what. But there comes a point where, is it actually viable? Will it actually happen this time? Biden is sitting there going, no, no. You have to raise the debt ceiling unconditionally. Biden is one of the most pathetic human beings I've ever seen in my life. But anyway, that's the position right now, and Speaker McCarthy is representing the idea of, well, we got to do something here. We just can't spend to infinity. But again, you have to understand there's some kind of weird global, agenda going on that not a lot of us have access to. And my personal feelings is that there's some of this is all about planned demolition, not just a so-called fated or a fateful demolition, but an actual strategically planned demolition of the global economy, especially to take down the United States, because the United States is the bulwark, the firewall to the rest of the world. Sadly, also, the United States has perverted itself. along the journey, the last 250-year Pluto cycle. Of course, we're at that point of critical mass right now. Anyway, we'll see what happens. You all know that inflation is raging. It's all across the world. So you have to get more and more money to buy less and less of the same thing. There you go. And you can thank Janet Yellen, Jerome Powell, Joe Biden, and the status quo of Washington. The whole of Wall Street, all of that. Anyway, here's the other thing that is, this one's a bit scary as far as I'm concerned. There's Title 42, which is something to do with protecting the southern border and the northern border from rampant illegal immigration. Anyway, that's going to expire, I think it's today. Is it today or tomorrow? I'm not remember. Hello, Ivona. Hello, Mr. Ross. I'm just doing a little catch up here because there's certain things that are really, really itching inside of me to be released. Cheers, everybody. So Title 42 allegedly is some kind of law that restricts immigration on the borders. Anyway, it's being lifted. And so there are hundreds of thousands of migrants on the border at this very moment, waiting to do the crossing. And on the other side of the border, here inside America, of course, to me it's nauseating. It actually makes me feel nauseous about what's happening. Again, it's all planned. It's all part of the planned demolition of the United States as we know it in order to create a communist, Marxist, totalitarian shithole. And so far, those the people in administration right now are doing an excellent job of, activating their agenda. I'm one of the Americans who do not approve, but what can I do? I'm just trying to protect my money, protect my privacy, protect myself, friends and family as best I can, as best I know how. I recommend the same for you, unless you happen to be one of those commie Marxists, then go. Anyway, here's something that really made me feel super warm and fuzzy. You've probably all heard about how Tucker Carlson, who's a very, let's say, popular commentator in America, he got, let's say, canned from Fox, and he was figuring out what to do. Well, he has migrated very, very quickly over to Twitter, and they were having a conversation, Elon Musk and Tucker Carlson, and Tucker thought, why not? Why not just do this? It sort of sounds absurd because you think of Twitter as this little tiny like Twitter. But if you've been tracking the story like I have, when Tucker Carlson, by the time he finished his first show on Twitter, he'd already had, guess what, 90 million views. 90 million. That's very different from 3 million on Fox. So the Fox debacle is very much about trying to create the uniparty face for Fox, where they're not left, they're not right, they're just a bunch of sellout commie, BlackRock, left-wing slime. I still watch Fox. There's still plenty of good stuff there, but frankly, I'm like a lot of other Fox watchers. I've migrated over to Newsmax and Twitter and Truth Social. And I do a lot of hunting on YouTube and a little bits and pieces from Telegram, if you really want to get the real dirt on stuff. Anyway, the other day, Love Triber invited me to watch a bit of mainstream, like, MSNBC, CNN, and so on. And I thought, why would you want to waste your time? And she said, well, think about it. this bizarre event happened where Donald Trump was doing one of his campaign speeches, a big rally over in New Hampshire. And of course, it was very warmly received by the local New Hampshire folks. And part of the event was an agreement with with CNN, and Donald Trump. And Donald Trump noted on his Truth Social, he said, "Hey, guess what, everybody? CNN just invited me to do a meetup around the New Hampshire rally." And Donald was like, "Why would CNN do that?" And then CNN basically said, seriously, we want you. And Donald didn't reveal any details, but he said CNN made him an offer he couldn't refuse. So he thought, okay, well, we'll do it. I got nothing to lose. It's just more publicity. And so I learned that there was the actual New Hampshire, rally, and that was great stuff. And then there was the CNN segment. So they had this young lady interviewing Donald Trump. It was probably all staged, and Donald probably already had the questions, provided to him, so he could at least prepare a little bit in advance for the show. That's what they do on TV anyway. So the CNN lady, of course, started, I guess she was polite, but in fact, she was really wanting to be quite vicious about her attacks on Donald and how he is still in complete denial of the election results a while back. And then she started pulling out all this so-called evidence about how things couldn't possibly be fake because of all this evidence here. Watch this, watch this. You, Mr. Trump, Donald Trump, Mr. President, sir, Mr. Former President, you said this, 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 and this, and this, and this, and this, right around January 5th, January 6th, blah, 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 blah. And on each one, Donald pulled out a piece of paper and went, "Oh, really?" Well, let me tell you, here's my notes directly from Twitter. And if you look closely at the timelines, then you'll see what I said does not coincide with your storyline. So basically, Donald was doing one of these. It was so funny. But again, I think it's CNN desperate for ratings. And they thought, well, we should play the other side now. We'll pretend that we are good people and we want both sides of the story. So we'll invite Donald Trump. Anyway, Donald Trump came out laughing. So anyway, I really enjoyed that. There's so much more to mention that really caught my attention. The Russia-Ukraine thing, okay, it's very ugly. There's a lot of blood lost, a lot of dead bodies. Very old-fashioned, okay? And so, give me a second, Gregory. I want to respond. Hello, Mr. Ross. Cheers, everybody. Anyway, so a lot of people in America with my kind of sentiments are saying, "Dear Uncle Joe, you're an effing criminal. You and your whole family are a bunch of effing criminals. You're taking all our money, you're printing money, you're destroying our economy according to the plan of the elites, okay? We know you're just a hack, you're just a low-level piece of slime, and you're working for the big guys who are the big guys on top of you, the big guy." Anyway, so we're sick of it. You're giving away billions, in fact, trillions of dollars. That's not your money, and giving it to other people. It's our money. And a lot of that money is turning into blood. We're sick of it. And that just makes me very angry. I know I've been in war in previous lifetimes, front lines in warfare. Um, I know it very vividly through past life experiences or regressions or whatever you want to call it. And the only reason you go to war is because you reach a point where you've got nothing left to lose. You basically say, I'm either going to live free or die. And that's it. Very, very simple. Now, a lot of people who are sucked into war don't have those perspectives, and they just get dragged in, and they are cannon fodder. They're exploited, and that's what's happening in Ukraine and Russia. Just hundreds of thousands of dead bodies. It's disgusting. Anyway, and we're paying for it. That makes me very angry and kind of sad. So, just want to mention another thing. Right now, at this very moment in time, we have in the astrology going on a certain piece of sacred geometry that's been on my front of my desk for months now. And it is this big fat T square looming, which is right here, right now. We just came out of the eclipse, the Taurus sun, the Scorpio moon, and as I predicted, massive global financial convulsions, which is exactly what's happening, okay? You're seeing it in America. You're seeing a lot of countries go bankrupt and turn to revolution and violence and utter decay. Places like Pakistan, Sri Lanka, obviously already, but there's a lot more. And anyway, moving on. Today, right now, for example, Pluto is on the cusp with Capricorn and Aquarius. We also have Mars on the cusp with Cancer and Leo. And then right in the middle on the T-square, we have Jupiter on the cusp of Aries to Taurus. So this forms an extremely hard, tight T-square. And what I'm seeing, what I'm personally seeing is war. Incendiary, combustible war. How it plays out in details, I'm not quite sure, but it's becoming pretty obvious already about what's happening across the world if you watch these kind of things. There's friends of friends that I know that really are completely oblivious to any of the stuff that I talk about, but I feel like I have to stay on top of these things because I don't want to get caught off guard. So there's all that. I guess I could, you know, rant a bit more about the finances, but I feel like I've kind of made my point over and over many, many times. And if people don't understand by now, then I don't know, God help you. I don't know what to tell you. Most of the people that I really respect, they're pulling out of the stock market. They're pulling out of any kind of intangible assets and trading, and they're going to things like gold, silver, oil stocks, and hard assets like owning bits of rentable property, things like that. You know, I understand these things, and I've helped people with these things, but I'm not saying I'm such a participant myself, but I'm very aware of the dynamics. And I do the best I can, just like all of you. So, some of the other sources that I have, uh, I would say at least half of them are ex-military. They've already done their service and they're retired, but they're still very conscientious and they still have a lot to offer. And what I've noticed is because of who they are and how they are and their perspective on the world, they get a lot of advanced intel that you would never see on mainstream or even some of the news that I watch. Uh, One of my favorites is the Epoch Times, and some of my guys, the people that I like, are sometimes 3 or 4 or 5 days ahead of the Epoch Times. So what does that tell you? Anyway, it's getting kind of noisy in here. I think I better just move on and let you guys go. So, Mr. Ross, we'll talk soon. It's Thursday, and hopefully we'll hang out very soon. If you said you had a day like him in court yesterday, I hope you were the one laughing. All right. So, take care of yourselves, everybody. We'll check in again soon. Hello, Ivona. Hello, Gregory. And thank you all for visiting. I wish there were more people I could share with, but sadly, my little channel is compromised. So at least 2 or 3 of you get to hear this stuff. Feel free to share if you want to. Once this is processed, I'm going to link it onto my Twitter and to my Truth Social and go from there. Take care. Bye bye.